This is our summer devotional called He is the Story, and we're in week 7. And just like Jesus revealed to the disciples on the road to Emmaus that every one of the stories of the Old Testament is fulfilled in Him, we're looking back at those stories and seeing how that's true and seeing how it impacts our life. And so this week we're here with Jonah, one of my favorite stories in the Old Testament, Jonah and the big fish. So let's jump right in. Most people know the part about the fish. God tells the prophet Jonah to go preach to Nineveh, a brutal enemy city. Jonah wants no part of giving mercy or offering mercy to those people, so he runs the opposite direction and boards a ship. And while on the ship at sea, a violent storm hits, and Jonah immediately knows it's his fault, and so tells the sailors to throw him overboard. Now, when he's thrown overboard, the sea goes calm, and Jonah sinks. And it says that in Jonah 1:17, it says that Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. 3 days in the dark, as good as dead. And from the belly, how much deeper can you get, right? The belly of the fish. From that place, Jonah prays, and God hears, and the fish delivers him back onto dry ground. Now, given a second chance, Jonah finally preaches, and the whole enemy city repents and is saved. And when we read that, we focus on the fish or on the stubborn Jonah or on the mercy of reaching an enemy, but this was never intended to be the whole story. When the crowds demanded that Jesus prove himself with a sign, Luke records his answer this way: "This is a wicked generation. It asks for a sign, but none will be given it except the sign of" who? Of Jonah. Jonah went down into the dark and came up after 3 days. And 3 times in Luke, Jesus tells his friends, the Son of Man will suffer, and on the 3rd day be raised to life again. So Jonah's 3 days in the deep were a shadow of this empty tomb of Jesus. But Jesus says something Jonah could never say. He says, now something greater than Jonah is here. And the differences are everything. Jonah was thrown into the deep for his own disobedience, and Jesus, though, went into the deep for ours. Jonah ran from the mission and resented God's mercy towards the outsiders, but Jesus ran toward the mission. And in Luke's gospel especially, we see God's mercy towards the outsiders, the least, the last, the left out, the tax collectors, the sinners, the foreigners, everyone, the people that everyone else wrote off. Now, Jonah's a prophet who went into the dark and came out, but Jesus is the one who went into the dark for you and walked out of the grave on the 3rd day with the keys of death in his hands. So the question I want to leave you with this week is this: Jesus willingly entered the darkness you were never meant to survive. Is there a 3 days in the dark place in your life right now where you need to trust that resurrection is actually coming because of Jesus? I invite you to sit with that, and I hope you'll be back here next week as we continue.